We talk about how dance changes lives here on Why Dance Matters, the Royal Academy of Dance podcast. I mean, we talk about it a lot because it can, and it does. And no one exemplifies that more than our guest today, the remarkable RAD dance teacher, Mike Wamaya. Mike works with Progetto Elimu in Kibera, which is a part of Nairobi in Kenya. Kibera is a place with problems, extreme poverty, intense lack of resources, but it doesn't lack hope, and that's in part down to Mike. In an environment packed with challenges, he's offering children and young people the chance to engage in creativity, artistic activity, and dance. He's encouraging them to look beyond their immediate horizons and to think too about sexual and reproductive health. It's an immensely ambitious programme. But why is RAD ballet part of that mix? It might seem incongruous that this has become a vital plank of Mike's work. So I want to hear more about why classical dance is part of what he does. And of course, why dance matters to him. I'm David Jays. Let's connect to Kibera. Mike, welcome to Why Dance Matters. A lot of dancers and dance teachers will be listening to this in all kinds of places. But what would we see around Progetto Elimu in Kibera? Paint us a picture of what it's like around your dance school.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. So Progetto Elimu in Kibera, we are an after-school program for children. We run different activities, and dance is one of our core activities, which is also built around dancing, ballet, modern dance, and African dance. We've been running this space now since 2018, and the aim of it was to give children in Kibera a place to hang out, a safe space for young kids to come in and explore the beauty of dance. We are not a professional dance school. We don't focus so much on professionalizing dance, but we focus more on creating dance as an access for education. So we've seen more children who are dancing with us getting more eager and getting more interested with school, getting more interested to listen and to learn from other people. So our space is more or less like an oasis of dance within our country, and an oasis of a safe space for children using dance as a tool of expression for them.
What's the world outside the school like? I guess not such a calm place.
Yeah, Kibera is not an easy place to grow up as a child. It's quite rough and intense and filled with so many negative ills besides some positive, amazing things that come of it. Children face a lot of domestic violence. Children face a lot of neglect. And some children also face a lot of hardship when it comes to even access to food. It's quite intense, but also it's a very beautiful place where there's a lot of happiness, lots of color, lots of people trying to make the place different. But of course, as any other slum, Kibera is quite intense, but also sometimes a bit dangerous to young girls who are growing up in the space. So every now and then, our activities are designed not just as a tool to dance, but also to make the children feel safe and also teach the children how to take care of themselves, a lot on safety, a lot of issues around if you see something, you can report it and who to talk to at what time. So that is basically Kibera. Currently, we are having a lot of issues around floods. Kenya is experiencing a very worst time where we are having a lot of flooded areas, and Kibera is one of them. Even our dance space is actually occupied by some families who are staying in it as they are getting away from the river line where their houses are. So it's quite an intense time for our organization and our dance school at this point.
And when you describe the school as a safe place, it's in so many ways, isn't it? Not just for expressing yourself in dance, but also sheltering from a flood. And that business of as you were saying, learning how to be safe in the wider world. That's a lot of different responsibilities.
We've also, with our dance school, we do dance activities, but we also do a lot around sexual reproductive health and rights, around menstrual health management. So within the school, we have the first ever sanitary towel bank. Because when I started teaching, one of the biggest challenge we had was whenever we have dance classes, we would have some girls missing classes just because they don't have access to menstrual products. And we've been able to set up not only just a dance space, but also a space where these young girls get access to free menstrual products until they are able to afford them on their own. So it's quite intense, not just dancing, but also on issues around menstrual health management, and also getting to discuss teenage pregnancy, because it's also one of our big challenges in Kibera.
And I was thinking before we started talking about that range of issues and activities you address. You've got ballet and dance on the one hand, you've got sexual and reproductive health on the other. But I guess there's a sort of connection about body confidence, about respecting your own body, knowing your own body. I guess both of those things are connected in that way.
Yes, it took me also time to really understand how do we dance to the outside world, because of course as a dancer people expect to see a beautiful production at the end of it, but no one wants to understand the pain and the endurance somebody had to go through to be able to produce a specific piece. So people want to clap, but people don't want to be part of the progress. So what we did is, let's get people involved with the growth, with the progress. The outcome is just the 1% of what we want to give. The bigger part is what we do. So we changed our way of working, and we dance for ourselves. We dance for our inner self. We dance for who we want to be. We dance to use dance as an expression tool for ourselves. And it's not more on what people want to see outside. In Kibera, it's also very intense, because when the young girls also, the challenges they face, it also affects them in the dancing space. So besides dancing, how do we start our classes? We start them with meditating and trying to understand the challenges that we are facing and finding solution on how do we talk about them. And then from there we dance. And so that's how we do it.
And can we go back a bit to the beginnings of your dance journey? Because you grew up in Nairobi.
Yes.
There was nothing like Progetto Elimu in your childhood, I don't think.
Yes. I always say it, I started dancing as a default. I was not able to do schooling because school was quite expensive for my then single mother, because my father just passed and everything broke down. My single mother was not able to support my high school education. So as a child, I was pushed out to work at a very early age. I was 15 when I was out trying to work. I always wanted to be in the art field. And so I saw a poster of the Kenya Performing Arts Group, if you want to audition for dance. And I thought this would be one of my perfect opportunities to try. So I tried it, and it worked for me. And by dancing, I got to learn more on dancing as a tool of giving you a voice, because it gave me so much. It changed my habits, it changed my behaviors, things that I was also involved in that were not positive. But then dancing made me calm. Dancing made me realize that there is way bigger part of the world besides my small world where I want everything for myself, but was more on I want to also give. And dancing taught me how to share. And dancing taught me how to be patient. And with that, I've been able to achieve so much. So when I had the opportunity to be able to set up a platform for young children to learn dance, I thought I want to set up something that I missed in my childhood. So it wasn't easy, but I am glad I've been able to use some of the challenges I faced to be able to design something that is now giving a bit of hope to some of the children within different communities I've worked in.
It sounds really life-changing. Was it because you were starting to work with other people? Is that why it started to have such an effect and changing the way your life was going?
Yeah, because to me, what it first taught me was equality. We are all on the same studio, regardless of our background, sharing the same passion for what we love. It doesn't matter, like you had money, somebody else didn't have money. We are all on the same space and we are trying to connect both physically and emotionally. To me, it starts by that because that is the opening where now your level of empathy also changes as a person. So you start realizing the world of somebody else. You want to listen to somebody else's problems and challenges. You want to relate to it and you want to be part of the solution for that specific person. So that's how it started for me. So it built a lot of emotional connection with so many other people, and I was able to share my challenges and I was able to find help. So that's how the voice comes out and how it came out for me. And that's why I try to use the same methodology in children to let them have the voice to first of all start by moving. And in the process of moving, we realize our inner strengths and our inner self. Together, we have one beautiful room together sharing our own passion.
That is gorgeous. Because also, when you're having to be an adult very quickly, like you did, those things like empathy, like being vulnerable, showing your emotions, those are the things you close down. So maybe dance also helped you rediscover those parts of
Yes,
yourself.
most definitely, because it was more on I have to provide for my family and I have to raise money. And also, I have to balance between crime and being me, crime and doing good. And sometimes you want a lot and you want it really fast because it's needed elsewhere. So you end up even considering putting yourself on the line in terms of stealing somebody's stuff so that you're able to provide something for your family. So it's quite intense as a child, losing all that gap of growth because I lost quite a lot and it was also very intense for me. But through dancing, I got to realize, okay, change is not an immediate thing. Change is gradual and it's a process. You just have to give yourself time to see the other side. And I was not the best dancer in my dance school. I was almost always the last when they're having like to select like 10 people. I would always be the 10th person. But this taught me persistence. This taught me to keep on going. This taught me growth is just a process. Having that and now using that in my daily life, I think it have transformed me heavily. And that's why I love sharing my story with my students so that they all know that it's not just about the perfect dancer. It's about the journey of becoming that perfect dancer.
And you did, of course, perform professionally. You toured with the company internationally, which I guess must have been quite an exciting time.
Yes, we were privileged, I would say, because with the Kenya Performing Arts Group, I traveled with them. I went to Europe for the first time and I was able to see the other side of the world. I was seeing Europe and coming in from the slums and getting a chance to be in Europe, seeing how people behave, how people do things, how everything looks a bit organized was quite an eye opening for me. But also, it made me realize so much. There's also a lot in us in Africa that I can also give out. I got to rediscover more, also see the challenges that people are facing in Europe and not every time in Africa we look at it like there's a way better world outside there on the other side. No, I was also able to see some of the challenges people face on the other side. But the good part was I saw so much that I was able to transform my way of working back home in Kenya.
Because you could have carried on performing and touring, but around 2008, you decided to come home at a time when the country was bitterly divided. It was a difficult, very difficult time. Why did you feel the need to come home then?
Yeah, I didn't feel the need. We just finished our exchange program combined with another tour in 2007, the end of it. We came back home because there was a need to vote. We were part of the voting, we voted, and then the country broke. Like everything was breaking into pieces. The country was divided along tribal lines. There was a lot of death. people being killed next to where we were staying, and was so intense. We started asking ourselves questions like, okay, why are we back to vote yet we had the option? We just auditioned for other companies in the Netherlands, and we had the option of moving back there or staying as refugees or disappearing in Europe. Why did we choose to come back and do this? And we felt that it is a calling. This is the need. This is why we were dancing. And I remember telling my friends, man, we got all these skills for free. This is the time now to use the skills that we got to change our own community. We cannot go on the streets and fight, but we can use dance. And how to use it is now the challenge. And when the post-election was slowing down, there was an agreement between the opposition and the government. So things were beginning to come back to normal. And then all the young people were now branded the enemy of the state. So there was a lot of arrest of young people and also extrajudicial killing that was now happening, not from the people themselves, but now from the police and the government against the young people who were part of the looting and the destruction of property. And I had dreadlocks, and I was still a young person living amongst the young people in the slum. If you had dreadlocks, you were branded a criminal, because there was then the criminal gang called the Mungiki. And it was quite intense. So what do we do with ourselves being branded criminals ourselves? And what we can do is dancing. So we started off by, of course, reporting to the police station and informing them of the activities that we were doing. But we were like, we are not going to stop. We're going to start dance activities. So we started dancing. I started working with children in the dump site, because we have a very big dump site, which was then like almost 40 plus years old. And that was the easiest place for children to go there to work, either to find food, because all the trash from the city is being brought there. And these children were now missing in school. Then we had the calling. A company had called us back, like, if you guys are interested to come back, we can offer your paperwork so you guys can come and dance for us. And I said, I'm not going back. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to work in the dump site with the children and try and redesign something that would improve our way of living. And this is my contribution to my country. And that's how I started. I'm still working with children, and it has given me so much fulfillment. And we've been able to see a lot of transformation in children's lives through dance.
And when people have got a lot going on in their lives, as so many of the children you work with must have, quite chaotic lives, a lot to have to juggle, is it easy to reach them? Is it easy to persuade them to step into that safe space and that oasis?
Yes, they come in themselves. We have an open door policy. So when a child walks into our space, we know very well the child is coming in because they love dance, or the child is coming in because there's another level of challenge that the child is running away from. So in our dancing space, we have dance classes that are really filled to capacity, because everybody wants to do it. So in the morning, if you come in, you'd see like almost 80 children dancing on the same space. So we use it for doing warm-ups, and we use it for doing like art activities. And now my office turned into like a small therapy house or small therapy office, where children would come in and would discuss issues or challenges that they are facing at home. So I'm not a trained childcare or a therapist, but I listen very well because I can relate to their challenges. And the good thing is they gain confidence because they know Mike is going to be there and he's going to listen together with my other colleagues. We just sit and we listen, and we try to help whenever we can. So within the space, we have disabled children dancing with able children. And sometimes I sit and watch, and I'm like, yeah, but this is what I missed. And I am glad I've been able to create it for them together with the team that we work with.
And of course, it's not just girls, it's boys as well, who can be resistant to dance, let alone talking about sexual health and reproductive health and learning about that. Again, has it been easy to get the boys into that space?
Yeah, it's not easy. There's a driving force, which we also even try. Like I'm a male dance teacher, my colleague is also a male dance teacher, but we still have few boys joining the program because they would love dance in the beginning. If we are doing African dance or hip hop and jazz, they love that. When it comes to classical ballet, very few of them are interested in it. But we try to make the space still very open and very inclusive. Last year, actually, we started a skateboarding program. So we also have skateboards within the space. And by that, also more and more boys came in and joined the program. But everybody joins the warm up in the morning. So we have both boys and girls dancing, and then people divide themselves to various activities that they are interested in. We've seen some boys who are really good dancers. Some of them have gotten scholarships. There's one of our students who is now at the University of North Carolina studying dance. And they all started with just walking into the space. So it's always difficult to get the boys dancing ballet, but once they pick it up, everything runs as smooth as it is.
Oh, wow. And why was ballet part of the mix? Because I guess that must seem to some of these children a really very elitist, foreign sort of performance. But you started teaching RAD ballet quite early on. Why was that important to you to add to the mix?
To me, it was important because it has the basics that gives you introduction to ballet in a very smooth, easy, understandable way, and also it builds on your core. The pre-primary RAD syllabus, there's a lot of floor work that you do with children sitting on the floor, and everything is so basic for them. It's quite important for African children, I noticed, because of our backs. As they grow up, the back tends to curve itself. It gets curved. With the RAD, it trains you more on working on your core from a very early age, from your back and your neck. So by the time they grow older and they venture into other dance classes like modern dance, like jazz, and also if they choose to do African dance, you tend to see the presence of these children is always really there. It's out there. They always have their backs straight. They always have their neck present. These have been also helpful even for them academically. I always say in our normal schooling, our classes are very crowded in the slums, in the informal settlements, and the teachers are tired and they only move with the ones who are showing presence and the ones who know the answer. And I love ballet because it teaches them when you're present, you're also present in your normal classroom. And even if you don't know the answer, your presence enables the teacher to help you more, enables the teacher to support you more. Your presence also makes you dominate your class. You take over some spaces that initially you would have not taken over if you were not dancing. And I always tell them with pride, like when you dance, you become elegant. And being elegant, you don't need to know the answer within your class, but you can get help whenever you ask for it.
And running Progetto Elimu, like you said, you didn't start as a ballet dancer. There's a lot that you've had to learn. What has that journey been like for you?
It's so intense. First of all, being like a Black human being running a foundation in Kibera, because all these NGOs, most of them are getting a lot of Western funding. So if you are Western connected, it becomes very easy for you to fundraise, and there's a lot of transparency issues that would come with. But I can dance, I can teach, I can do it anywhere regardless. And one thing that we needed to break was the hierarchy that have been created in ballet for so many years, where ballet becomes an elite thing. You have to be rich to be able to dance ballet in Kenya. You have to be from a certain level of standard in life for you to dance ballet. The first thing to do is let's break this and make ballet. Let's bring ballet to the dirt. Let's put it on the streets where children don't have access to it. So we started off, we don't have a proper dance floor, but we are going to dance there because we are dancing for the love of it. And we didn't have like ballet costumes and ballet clothes because they are so expensive to afford here, and ballet shoes. We started dancing barefoot. That cracks the barrier that people have created themselves when it comes to dancing. Since then, Children now look at dancing ballet. It's normal. We can dance it with any clothes, provided I just get tight clothes that my teacher can watch my legs turned out or turned in or correct me nicely. That is what we need. I need my soul. Once I have that, I'm able to dance. It was not easy. It was a huge struggle to get people to understand that we can do it without proper clothing, without a proper dance floor. And I say it now with pride. Like I'm saying, I'm like, I build my own dance floor, and we build it from scrap materials that we can find everywhere. There's no any single company in Kenya that can build you a dance floor. You have to import it. So everything is so expensive, but we cracked everything. We are now building everything ourselves. We've been able to train our shoemakers in Kibera. Now we make our own ballet shoes from the slums, and we don't have to wait for them to be donated to us.
And you've mentioned one or two of the children who've now left the school. You've been running long enough to be able to see people come in as quite young kids and leave on the verge of their adult life. That must be quite an emotional feeling.
Yes, to me, it's fulfilling when I see children get scholarships that initially they would have not been able to get. For instance, the ones who've traveled abroad, but even the ones who've gotten scholarship to be able to join high school. We have a very high rate of school dropout due to financial issues. But now I have students at the University of Nairobi who are studying medicine to become doctors. And they did this because they were dancing with us, and we were able to find scholarship opportunities for them through dance. So they start off as just walking in to play with us, and it ends up really amazing because they get opportunities that initially they would have not been able to get if it wasn't for dancing with us.
And it feels, yes, you're a dance school, but also you're really a life school. You're giving people tools that they can take with them as they then embark on the rest of their lives. What are you hoping that children who have been through Progetto Elimu will take with them?
It's more on empathy and kindness and being able to share and being able to change, because no one will come and change our slums to a better place of living. No one. We will do it ourselves. And the only way for us to do it ourselves is we need to, first of all, build the confidence and to have the understanding that we are capable of doing it. We have to change our mindset from our community level through dancing, through doing different co-curricular activities. That way we get to understand that our community is actually we are able to change it. And the change is actually on our own hands. And so I'm always enjoying seeing the children understanding the concept of there's way more beyond the challenges they are facing at this particular time in Kibera.
You must sometimes wonder what your life would have been if you didn't happen to see that poster and start dancing all that time ago. What direction do you think your life would have gone in?
I think it would have not been a good one, because I was working in a garage, but working as a spanner support human. Like I would support the mechanics when they need specific spare parts. And I don't know what I would have done, but I guess something would have happened. But dance gave me a whole different path of life that I'm really proud of, and I'm really celebrating every now and then. I think it's full of growth. It just taught me the power of being a lifelong learner. So I keep on studying. I keep on teaching myself new things. And I would have not been this person if it wasn't for that single poster that I saw.
And so finally, Mike, we are going to let you go, but not before I've asked the last question, which is, why does dance matter to you?
Dance matters to me so much because it's our core. For instance, in Kenya, we used to have dance to celebrate things, to use dance for mourning. We used to use dance to mark our calendars and stuff. And dance have been part of our lives. However, dance was given a negative approach and rethought of as a time-wasting tool, as just a tool for entertainment, yet it is something that makes us realize who we really are and our identity and our path. And so to me, really grateful that dance have been able to give me so much in terms of my identity, in terms of my understanding of my community, in terms of also celebrating the fact that it is okay to have less. It is okay to dream. It is also okay to want to be who you want to be. So dance have given that to me. And so to me, dance matters so much.
There's a lot to think about from Mike's conversation. He knows just why his work matters to him and to his community. There are links to Progetto Elimu and to the RAD's work in our show notes. Our guest today was Mike Wamaya. Why Dance Matters is made by the RAD team of Keisha Dodd and Katie Hagan, and our artwork is by Bex Glendinning. Our producer is Sarah Miles. I'm David Jays. Take care and see you soon.